I think Returnal's a pretty challenging game, but I also think it's really fun. And hopefully some of the tips in this video will help you enjoy yourself a bit more as you play it. I think probably the first thing you ought to do is adjust your mindset. What I mean is, rather than focusing on all the negatives, like, man, every time I die, I gotta start over again, I lose all my stuff. Well, I think it's worth mentioning, by the way, that pretty much every single video game used to be like this. I don't think that's too unprecedented. But rather than focusing on all that negative stuff that's going to get you frustrated, why not focus on the positives? For example, the developers have literally given you an invincibility button. Yeah, you just push a button and you're invincible. You can push it almost as much as you want. If you just push circle, just tap it, you'll do a short dash. And if you hold it a bit longer, you'll do a longer dash. And when you're dashing, you are completely invincible. Nothing can hurt you. Well, yeah, I'll admit that the time you're invulnerable isn't very long, but you do move forward when you dash, which means your timing doesn't need to be as precise. So you can just go through bullets like that. And when you're getting shot at like this, you can either dash through the projectiles, or you could just walk around them, or jump over them. It's a good time to practice your timing with the dashes. You can just go right through things. Now at first you can just walk around stuff, but the time will come when you do need to actually dash with the right timing. Which you can see that here with this mini boss. But if you kind of calm down, you'll see that he telegraphs his moves quite a bit. Flashes red. Oh, he's going to attack. Dash. Going to attack. Dash. Going to attack. Dash. So if you just kind of don't get too overwhelmed, you actually could probably get the hang of it even on an enemy like that. So next up is shooting. If you push the L2 button halfway down, you'll kind of zoom in. Makes it easier to see what you're shooting at, and you move a bit slower to kind of steady your aim. But it actually doesn't improve your accuracy stat, so to speak, at all. You'll shoot just as accurately without aiming. What I found was, over time, the more I played the game, I gradually stopped zooming in. Sometimes I would, so I could see things a bit better, but I just like the increased mobility of not zooming in. You can see I can zip around a lot better getting this guy. So you might consider just not zooming in at all. Another major consideration is crowd control. If you get surrounded, like I am here, you've got bullets coming at you from all directions, that's really hard. It's difficult to keep track of everything. So what you need to do is get out of those situations and get all the enemies on one side of you. Get them in front of you. That way you can actually see what's going on. You can see that here. Even though there's a tougher enemy there, they're all in front of me and it's a lot easier to manage. If you do kind of start to lose track of things, you could always look at your mini-map. You can see all the enemies down there on it. That's pretty convenient. If you have your adrenaline level up to at least level 2, you can see enemies through walls. That's what that red stuff is there. It's pretty convenient. I can just see where they're coming from. And if an enemy or a projectile is going to hit you from off screen, there's a flashing light next to you. Ooh, like there. The game also has an adrenaline system. You can see it down here. That's going to increase over the duration of this clip. Now how this works is it's the game trying to reward you for playing well. So every 3 kills you get without getting hit, it increases your adrenaline level, and each level comes with perks of some kind. Adrenaline level 1 makes it easier to reload your weapon. Level 2 makes you can see enemies through walls. All the way up to level 5, which gives you 50% more money, which is pretty good. But arguably the best part about increasing your adrenaline level is that you shoot extra projectiles. See right here I have just a common sidearm, but I'm shooting tons of extra homing missiles with my gun. So that's a pretty nice perk. It makes especially tougher enemies like a boss much easier. And I want to take a moment here and just kind of reflect on this gameplay system and why it makes the game so much better. So you're really incentivized to not get hit, which you are in any game, but a lot of games you just kind of hide for 5 seconds and you get your health back. This game not only doesn't have recharging health, but you really want to keep all those bonuses from the adrenaline levels. When you get hit, ooh, you really feel it. Man, now my gun kind of sucks again. It's really plain. I don't have all those extra bullets flying everywhere. I can't see enemies through walls. I'm not getting extra money. You really feel it, and that pressure adds a lot of tension and fun to the game. It makes each moment count, and you actually care what you're doing. It actually matters. And that system of pressure kind of also carries over into the health system. When you have full health, all the green items turn into resin, and every 3 resin you get, it increases your max health, which is pretty good. You can see that happening here in the bottom left. And that'll happen again in just a moment. In games like this, I kind of think of hit points, in this case integrity, as kind of like how many mistakes you can make. You know, they could have made the game one-hit kill, but they didn't. They let you make mistakes. So when I see an item like this, plus 25% health, I kind of see that as, well, I can make 25% more mistakes. That's pretty good. I could use a little wiggle room in a game like this. And the same thing applies to protection. That's kind of like armor. So this power-up gives me 10% protection, or in other words, I can make 10% more mistakes. Yes, please. Before the video ends, I wanted to give a few tips about the first boss, because it is pretty hard. You know, if you keep dying to this boss, you're not abnormally bad at the game or something. It's a pretty tough boss, to be honest. So tip number 1 is always shoot. Shoot every single moment. Every second you're not shooting is another second you gotta survive. Tip number 2, keep moving. You are gonna get killed if you just stand still. Now he'll shoot in a way that kind of pressures you to move. I gotta move out of the way of these. Oh, gotta move out of the way of those. Go the other way. So you kind of just need to look for an opening about when to change directions when you move. If you just move the same way every time, he'll get you that way too. Kind of like how in Demon Souls, you attack an enemy but you wait for an opening. You do the same thing here, only you're looking for an opening about when to change directions. Now when you get him down past his first health bar, he does a few more moves. Most notably, he tries to melee you. There'll be this big flash, and then he'll attack. So just use your invincibility button, get out of the way. When you see that flash, you gotta dash. Now if you're going back and forth and you're gonna get hit, you can just kind of tell, well, just use your invincibility button, get out of there. If he does that laser, use your invincibility button, it won't harm you. So you kind of just keep that up. Now the third phase, things get a bit more hectic, as you might expect. He starts out by trying to melee you twice in a row, so just heads up about that. Some people online swear by meleeing him, but I don't think that works out very well, as you can see. And it doesn't really do that much damage anyway. So like I was saying, the third phase is more or less similar. Your strategy's gonna be the same. Keep moving, keep dodging, keep shooting. But pay a bit more attention to what the boss is up to. Now you also might want to make it easier on yourself. Now every level has a store in it, and there's going to be what's called a large silphium vial there, over there on the left, that orange thing. What it does is it fills your health up all the way when you use it. That would be great. You could also find or buy an astronaut figure. That'll bring you back. You could also spend 6 ether and use a reconstructor. Get another chance at things. You might even find a parasite that brings you back with some big negative effect, but you would be dead if you didn't get it, so might as well pick that up. So you're getting him down, you're paying attention to what he's doing, you're being a bit more mindful about where you're stepping. You see that double laser just dodged twice, by the way. And soon enough, if you keep at it, you'll get him. And you will feel so proud of yourself when you do. Now, if this is as far as you are in the game, I got good news. There is a lot more to see. And I hope this video helps you feel a bit more confident in your abilities in playing, and I hope it helps you have more fun.